So guys, Andrew Tate's new lawyer has done a new interview on radio and gave some important information about how the situation is going to play out in terms of his release, on if he's going to get released. Some big news is coming in the next couple of days, she says, which we'll keep you posted on, so make sure you leave a like and subscribe with the notification bell. But I'll play what she said right now.
Here, what do you expect to happen next? Do you expect another plea for an extension, or do you expect things to come to a head pretty soon?
So we're going to find out in the next several days. The existing detention order expires on February 27th. And if the prosecution intends to extend that for another 30-day period, they'll have to make that request soon, and then we'll have a hearing on it. Obviously, our hope is that at this point they are released and that it's not extended. But am I optimistic about that? No. And I think an additional factor that weighs in is the tremendous amount of assets that have been seized. So almost $4 million worth of assets were seized from their residence. And unfortunately, that gives the authorities incentive to search and find evidence of some wrongdoing to be able to forfeit and keep assets of that nature. I think the seizure, let's keep in mind, when the police raided their properties and searched them and seized all these items, they didn't find evidence of crime. They've taken these items in the event that they are able to later on show that they're...
Well, they say they're ongoing. They say the investigation is ongoing and the assets, some of the assets...
That's the crazy thing about it. All the stuff that's getting seized in Romania and now Dubai, they're taking the Bugatti, they're taking all the luxury items, watches, money's getting seized in crypto. It could be all for nothing. And then will it be returned in the same sort of fashion instantly, or would they have to wait, go to things to collect it? It's going to be a huge amount of headache for the Tate brothers once this all comes to a head. And they're hoping they can prove this has all been brought with dirty money.
They say the investigation is ongoing and the assets, some of the assets they've taken are part of that investigation.
Of course, but this isn't a situation where police seized things that are illegal on their face. They didn't, seize contraband, drugs. A lot of times when there are these raids, things are taken which are evidence of crime. In this case, there was no evidence of crime that was seized. These are assets that they're holding on to in the event that they can later prove that these are proceeds of ill-gotten gains. And again, at this point, there are not charges filed against them, and the fact that they have $4 million in assets, it gives them further incentive to detain them and continue to search for some crime so that they could try to forfeit, those sizable assets.
In one of the hearings where they attempted to end the detention, the judge that refused that request said, and I quote, one of the reasons given was the particular, and I quote, the particular dangerousness of the defendants and their capacity to identify victims with an increased vulnerability in search of better life opportunities. That folds into the allegations of people trafficking. Are you satisfied as his lawyer that if this comes to court, you have enough evidence to counter that claim?
We do. We don't. First of all, it's a little difficult because I'm not supposed to comment directly on anything that's happening in the proceedings. As of now, they're closed proceedings.
But without detail, you're satisfied
I think
you have enough evidence to counter that?
I do. I don't think there's been any evidence that they're a danger to the community in terms of committing crimes. Again, I think at this point, they haven't been charged with crimes.
The good news for Andrew Tate right now is how confident his lawyer seems despite how he's been treated by the Romanian system so far. We're going to get a huge update on if he's going to get released at the end of this month or detained. They can keep him up to 180 days, which will be a few months from now maximum, but I'll keep you guys posted. Leave a like and subscribe with the notification bell.